Hello. Hello, everybody. Hello. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Frontlog's channel, where we take the games from the back and put them in the front. This is May, and today we're continuing Umineko. So we're about to head on a miniature plane to the Ushiromiya Family Mansion. We met the family, so now we're going over there. So, they're in my handbag. I'll get one once we're inside the plane. I've heard that candies are a good way to protect your ears from hurting because of variation in the atmospheric pressure when landing or taking off. That's probably what they're talking about. Hope I get a window seat. Hahaha, don't worry. There aren't any other kinds of seats. I mean, it's a pretty small plane, so like, you'd think there aren't any other seats. Like, I've been on small planes before. It's very easy to get a window seat. In the atmospheric. As George Aniki said, there were apparently only 2 lines of seats, which is typically what happens in smaller planes. Like, obviously in bigger planes, chances of getting a window seat are like very small because there's like 3, but when you have like just 1 seat on each other, you're getting a window seat. There's only 2 lines of seats, so this is what a small plane is like. We are totally sure it's not going to shake, right? I mean, it only really shakes at the beginning and occasionally turbulence, but it's not usually that bad. Ushiromiya George-sama. Right here. Don't worry, Badler-kun. It won't shake too much. Ushiroma Battler-sama. That's me, that's our goat. Aniki, what do you mean, not too much? You can just swim if you fall from a boat, but if a plane crashes, you're screwed, right? I mean, I don't... there's a small chance of survival. We all get our own parachutes in our seat, don't we? Wait, we don't? Ushiromiya Rudolph-sama. Come on, Battler, stop standing there slack-jawed and get in. Ow, Dad! Don't push me. Don't get parachutes. Ushiroma Kairi-sama. Okay, you two, stop fooling around. Let's move on in. Ow, Kairi. Don't push me. This blockhead isn't moving. Ushiroma Maria-sama. Woo! 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 Is this all she does? Ushiromiya Rosa-sama. Maria, be quiet. Wow, she's just being mean, isn't she? This is your pilot, Kawabata. We'd like to thank you for taking New Tokyo Aviation's Flight 201 today. We estimate that the flight to Nijima Airport will take about 20 minutes. That is a very short flight. We are receiving reports of atmospheric turbulence. Well, Badler's not in for a treat today. There may be some shaking of the aircraft, so we ask that you do not unfasten your seatbelts after takeoff. Aniki, did that guy just say we needed to wear seatbelts? I mean, you already needed to on a plane. Because I never take them off. In the jumbo jet, they let you undo them after takeoff, right? So it's gonna shake so much that we can't take them off. Damn it, you tricked me. It's gonna shake after all. Where are the parachutes? I knew I should have taken the boat. Legend of the Golden Witch. Ushiromiya Battler. Ushiromiya George, Ushiroma Jessica, Ushiromiya Maria, Ushiroma Kinso, Ushiroma Cross, Ushiroma Eve, Ushiroma Natsui, Ushiroma Hideyoshi, Ushiroma Rudolph, Ushiroma Kairi, Ushiroma Rosa. Gang's all here. Sanjo Chiruma, Shannon, Goda Toshiro, Ronu Genji, Kanan, Kuma Awasa. Okay, I can't read that fast. They'll get introduced later anyway, so, because we don't know them yet. Umineko, Naku Kora ni, Rondo, the Witch in Reasoning, Butterfly. Let's get it. I might need to adjust screen a bit. It's a little off-centered. Could have taken the boat. If that's a little bit better. The boat. Ball! Ball! Woo-hoo-hoo! Oh yeah, that's enough. But what a surprise. I thought you were nothing. There was nothing that could scare Bad Lagoon. This guy can't handle vehicles for some reason. Always yells about falling, sinking, and stuff. You're just kind of valid. You're a disgrace of a man, you are. Hop off the goat. Ah, shut up. That thing was seriously shaking way too much. Just got a little stressed since it was my first time on a small plane like that. It's not really that much different from a big plane. Call that a little stressed? Yeah, sounds like it'd be fun to take an overseas vacation with you, Bad Lagoon. You like to go to Egypt with your aunt? You get a ride a plane for a full 14 hours. I know, there's a good plan. Bad Lagoon, you should go let Eva and Nisa and toughen you up some more. Still, it's so hilarious. Wahaha, now everyone's got their own strong and weak points. It's bad to laugh at them. At least he's being nice. Well, kinda, he's laughing too. Dad, you're laughing too. Hey, Maria-chan, you shouldn't laugh anymore. Shouldn't laugh anymore? Ooh. Yeah. Yacht? Nah, sorry. Damn it. Being scared of planes really such a big deal. It really isn't. Everyone obviously thinks I'm a big oaf now. We split up and took separate taxis from the airport to the harbor. From there on, we would be taking a boat to the island. The islands are right next to each other, so the distance of the trip wasn't that great. And he had to get on a boat anyway. By boat, it was leisurely 30 minutes to the island. When we reached the pier where the island was anchored, we saw a figure waving at us. George Nissan, it's been so freaking long. Ah, Jessica-chan, it's been a year since I've seen you. Or saw you. You've gotten taller again, haven't you? Yeah, don't give me that. It's embarrassing when you say it every year. I'm my cat. I think it is. I had to yell at him because he was scratching on my door. They always scratch on the post for some reason, even though they have their scratching post. And you gotta be kidding, is that really Jessica? Wait a second, George. This big guy, Bandler? We both stared at each other. She definitely didn't look like that in my memories, but I do remember her crazy way of talking. Yo, Jessica, what's this now? You're kinda looking like... Kidding me, you look like a woman now. What are these boobs? Even you managed to get a chest. Yeah, let me rub them, Well, it was kind of freaky. Maybe he's not like me. Don't screw around with me. I'm a blushing flower of 18. Of course, my hair grew longer and I got these. But you think I got boobs just because they're fondled by you, loser? Speaking of you, sure, you got all ridiculously huge. But did you get a bit stronger too? Don't screw with me. I'll show you how much training I've done since back then. You're pissing me off. I'll beat you at your own game. This headstrong girl's name is... He was born under the same unlucky star as me, sharing the same kind of weird name. Anyway, it's pronounced Jessica. She's Dad's older brother's daughter. That older brother happens to be the oldest son of the Ushiromiya family. So for now, it means Jessica is the direct family heir. Jessica and I are the same age, and sometimes had little boy-girl squabbles with each other. We've always been used to fighting and joking around together whenever the relatives gather. Jessica grew more quickly, so she always had me beat in terms of size and physical strengths. When we scuffled in a contest of strengths, it usually went Jessica's way. So even though I realized I'd grown bigger, part of my mind still was convinced I couldn't beat Jessica. Whoa, what the? You're getting all serious for? Ow, ow, ow. Hey, this is nothing. Just cause you gotten weak. Shut up. I'm a girl. So of course I couldn't beat a guy with physical strength forever, right? Well, you got a point there. The meat I put on my arms all went to your chest. Looks like it'd be a pretty even test of strength between my arms and your boobs, I think. Told you my boobs are for you to feel up. Besides, how about you? Did your cute little... Okay, get bigger to go with the rest of you? Stop it, idiot. No, you poo. I'll be ruined for marriage. Don't touch my crops. What is this dialogue? Don't say stuff people are gonna misinterpret. Honestly, I was so surprised how feminine Jessica had become that I had to joke around like an idiot to hide it. Well, considering what a bossy brat she was 6 years ago, anyone would be surprised. I guess she's just as surprised. She probably wasn't expecting to lose to me in the test of strength. After losing that easily, she must have been shocked how much I've grown in the past 6 years. 6 years. Once again, I'm being shown what a huge gap of time that was. Crap, total defeat. It's like I'm no match for you anymore. That's not true. Even Valor-kun must have his weaknesses. Right, Maria-chan? Ooh! Fall! 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 Cut it out, Maria. Let's keep that a secret, okay? Oh? What the hell are you talking about? Yeah. Sorry, but there's no chance you'll see that weakness of mine now. After all, that nightmare plane trip is over and done with. The only thing left is a nice, quiet splashing of the boat ride. Never thought I'd start loving that piece of junk boat this much. Hehe. Huh? George Nissan, is there something wrong with his head? I mean, there's probably a lot considering the things he said to you earlier. You'll understand soon. Very soon. At the time I didn't get what Aniki meant by that big smile. What have we here, who? Let's just say it now, Chio. Butler-sama, look how big you've grown. Or no, how big you've grown. Who's it this time? It's an old lady with an apron. Oh yeah, that takes me back. I remember now. You remember her, right? Kumasawa-san, the servant. I can never forget you, Kumasawa-ba-chan. After all, you haven't aged a bit in these past 6 years. If anything, I say you're looking younger than ever. Oh ho ho, lately my skin's been getting quite smooth and silky. And look, my chest hasn't gotten bigger as well. You're kidding, right? Strictly limited to bouncy girls. Well, it's quite bouncy in my youth. Don't be shy. Okay, I'm not reading all that. Give me a break. Girls I'm looking for, not grannies. Jokes I cracked about Jessica were being turned against me. Come to think it, Kumasawa-san has always been the type to tease people. Kumasawa-san, stop that now. People with one foot in the coffin shouldn't jump around. The sport with the young is the most I need to look that up. Battler indeed has no weaknesses. Alright, looking at the dictionary, rejuvenating. What does the wiki say? Give new energy or vigor to revitalize, restore a youthful appearance. Okay. Oh ho ho ho. Rare for you to come pick us up, Kumasawa-san. Wonder what's gone into you. Usually your lumbago kicks in whenever someone gives you a job to do. Iba-sama, you're as harsh as ever. Found myself with the urgent purchases to make, and while I was at it, I thought I would come welcome you all. Although it does give a bad impression if the one waiting to greet you is a decrepit old woman. That's kind of mean. Oh, don't say that about yourself. Aunt Eva spoke sarcastically, but Komasawa's Ba-chan's years of experience were nothing to sneeze at. He was more capable of smoothly and coolly deflecting that comment. Well, it feels bad to say it, but old Kumasawa Ba-chan may be past her prime as a servant. He's washed. She might act tough, but she's in good health, but between the headaches and lumbo, body's wearing out. To tell you the truth, the very fact that she's working is impressive. How old is she this year again? She must be pushing 80 at least. It's incredible that she's still able to act so cheerily. You just seem to get more and more lively. Oh, that's right, here you are. The tea I told you about before. Look, I brought you some. Please do try it later on. When Rosa took a souvenir bag out of her suitcase, to think that she remembered a promise that she had apparently made last year and faithfully brought it. That sort of thoughtfulness was just like Aunt Rosa. If only she'd used that thoughtfulness to Maria. She wasn't the kind of person who would forget or break a promise. Kumasawa Ba-chan seemed deeply touched. Not only that Aunt Rosa had remembered this year-old promise, but that she would bring a gift to a simple servant like her. This woman is Kumasawa Chiyo-san. Well, I kind of knew that, but she's a senior servant who's been working at the Ushiromiya head family household for many years. You'd expect from someone her age. Manual labor isn't her strong point, but she's kind of a super servant who can handle just about anything else, from kitchen work to cleaning and laundry. Seems like her only flaw is her tendencies to slack off. Hashtag real. Here she tries to get away from heavy or troublesome work by playing up her chronic diseases. Womp womp. In Kumasawa Ba-chan's case, this was probably a sign of craftiness rather than laziness. Maybe she's goated and not washed after all. Though it probably doesn't impress those paying her salary. So well, even if she's pretty flaky when it comes to work, I can never dislike her. Guess that's probably because of her cheerfulness and constant smile. Hey, glad to see you're still in fine spirits. How's your back doing then? And with the medicine, it's not getting one whit better. According to the doctor, nothing can be done for this one. It's what you might call an incurable disease, haha. Anyway, Jessica-chan keeps getting prettier. Good thing she takes after Natsushi-san. Really? Personally, I don't think we look alike at all. I mean, I don't even want to be like my parents. I got zero respect for them. She's gotta have some kind of reason for that. No, you shouldn't say something. Maybe it's like because she doesn't want to take over the company or something like that. Though there are quite a few people who don't want to be like their parents in our family. That's me. Duracell better not take after me. Nose is looking like mine already pisses me off. What are you talking about? Surprisingly like you and father. Come on, you can't be serious. Just how am I like dad? Or a lot like him, especially in how ignorant, arrogant, and prideful you are. Father's blood is especially strong in you, Neeson. What do you say, Rosa? Oh, absolutely. Cross Neeson and Rudolph Neeson are almost unbelievably like dad. Alright. Why am I the only one under fire from the girls? Yoshi Neeson, give me a hand, please. He's getting the backup. My Rudolph-kun, you're always so popular with the ladies. In all the wrong ways. I'm jealous. Wahaha. Are you jealous of being slandered? I mean, you do you, man. Oh ho ho ho. So you feel you're popular enough to make me jealous. Well then, everyone, shall we head over to the boat? Come now, Maria-san, let's get on the boat together, okay? Get on the boat together, ooh. Everyone gets on together. Ooh. Oh yeah, this time around I'm not gonna be scared. He's built different, he's goated, he's built different. I'm used to being shaken by the waves. With that piece of junk fishing boat, I'm less afraid of the shaking than the engine breaking down and the boat drifting off. Oh yes, Badler-kun, I forgot to tell you. That fishing boat was completely worn out, so it was taken out of commission a few years back. We get taken to an island, a different boat. Is it a better boat? Because they're rich enough to buy a better boat. Alright, it's the Battler's first time in the new boat. Super comfy and freaking fast. Jessica really likes the word frickin'. Can go at crazy speeds. Oh, that means less travel time, right? Sounds great. Having to worry about sinking is less scary than being on a plane, but it'd still be awesome to get it over with as quick as possible. Ooh, is Badly gonna fall again? Nah, this time he's not gonna fall. That's only on airplanes. Everything's fine now. Anyway, the captain's pride enjoyed. It kind of modded high-speed boat. Ooh, he modified it. That's pretty cool. Seems he got it pretty souped up. It's all tricked out. He was bragging about how he attached 4 base high-efficiency propellers to make it break 40 knots or something like that. Is that even a word? Talks about it all the time, so I sort of memorize the spiel. Yeah, I gotta memorize it too, since we hear about it every year. Captain says he's been obsessed with modding ever since he lost the speed contest with the foreign boat years ago. According to him, that opponent managed to break 30 knots with just a fishing boat. Well, I guess that explains why he has 40 knots now. And his thirst for a revenge match got him to build an awesome all-new super high-speed modded boat. Sure, you'll just love it badly. But is he gonna love how fast it is? Because he's gonna get motion sickness. Super high-speed modded boat. My first thought was this would be much better than some beat-up boat that might sink at any moment. For some reason, I got this feeling of foreboding. Probably just overthinking it. Or is he? Dun dun dun. That's a lot of shaking. Hey, Battler, maybe you should just swim to the island. Battler, couldn't you shouldn't lean over the railing too much. I can never lean over the railing because I know I would just fall right in. Like, you know those videos where people hold their phone over the rails and stuff? That always gives me anxiety that someone's just gonna drop it in. Badlet-kun, you shouldn't lean over the railing too much. You might fall. Ooh, fall. Damn it. So this is why you were all grinning back there. This is the super high-speed boat that the captain started modding. Oh yes, that piece of junk fishing boat from years ago doesn't hold a candle to this guy. Whoa, it's shaking. Gonna fall. Ooh, gonna fall. If I fall, land in the ocean and drown, where's the parachute? I mean, where's the buoy? Give me a life jacket. Wahahaha. What the heck are you doing that for? Wahahaha. Chan, Maria-chan, it's not nice to cheese. Badler-kun, if you're scared, just don't come out on the deck. I think you'll be able to calm down if you go inside the boat. Of course Badler's not gonna listen. He has no weaknesses. That's a no thank you, Anarchy. Shipwreck victims are always the ones inside the boat. I mean, no matter where, you're technically inside the boat. Survivors are usually those on the deck during the accident. I'm staying right here. But it's shaking. I'm gonna fall. Whoa. Shake. Gonna fall. Ooh. Oh yeah, I told you to behave yourself. I mean, she's just doing the same thing as everybody else. I don't see the problem. Like, everyone else is teasing them, but Rosa just goes off on Maria for some reason. But Badler-kun, it looks like you really can't handle it. I'll go tell the captain to slow down for you. Well, Aunt Rosa, thank you. I can tell you now that safe, slow driving is definitely the way to go, even on the sea. Yeah, don't do that, Rosa. Trials and Tribulations Ace Attorney? Is that an Ace Attorney reference? Are important for young men. Isn't that right, Badler-kun? Thanks, Eva. You'd better be able to overcome a little scar like this. Otherwise, you'll never be able to go to Egypt with your aunt. I don't think Badler wants to go to Egypt. Well, Aunt Eva, you're so mean. Oh no, I'm gonna fall. Life jacket, parachute. Whoa. Wait, gonna spin around and think that way. What's the enemy aiming for? The only enemy Badler is just having beef with the sea. It isn't even beaches or anything. It's just the sea and the boat. That's what his beef is with. That's all he's aiming for. Too bad. Like hell, I'm scared. But no, gonna fall. So after I made a huge fool of myself for a while, Aunt Rosa had a talk with the boat captain and he slowed down to a more manageable speed for me. Aha, that's a lot better. Oh, I don't want to open up settings. Don't know why it does that. Hold on. I need a water break. Okay, I'm back. I just had to check something. Okay. Aha, that's a bit better. After drinking some good old water. Thought I was gonna die earlier. Apparently the max speed I can tolerate is extremely slow because he's a slow-minded person. But that just now was completely insane. The whole boat was shaking. Sliding and leaping on the ocean surface. Felt like I was riding on the back of a flying fish. I feel like a flying fish would be more tolerable than a boat at high speed. That just sounds kind of fun. Jessica was still gawping at me as I leaned against the railing, tired and disheartened. I lost in the strength contest earlier, but I'm glad to know I'm no worse off where it really counts. Seriously, everyone's laughing at Badler and they're being kind of mean. Damn it, go ahead and laugh. One of these days I'm gonna find your weakness and get ready get back at you, then your boobs will be mine to squish. Okay, Badler, calm down, buddy. Haha, yeah, sure, good luck with that. Wahaha. Ooh, Badler all weak. Get his ass. Yeah, Badler all weak. Want to die on land, not in the ocean or sky. He's kind of real for that, because drowning in the ocean is like one of the worst possible deaths I can imagine, aside from like falling face down on the ground. Maria was patting my back, so I patted hers in return. Maria's nice. What a nice person. Her expression was, I guess, usual, but then I realized she wanted to console me. Badler-kun, the captain's throwing in drinks to make up for this. Would you like one to calm yourself down? Well, that's nice of the captain. What kind of drinks? George, Aniki, and Kumasawa Bachan brought us all ice-cold cans of soft drinks covered in beads of water. With beads of water. Oh yeah, because whenever you take out like cans from like what is it called? Cooler, the ice usually melts, so it's like filled with water. Judging from Kumasawa's big grin, our parents inside the boats were all rolling and laughing at with a pure terror. Damn, I'm so embarrassed I can't face any of them. Why the only two people that aren't constantly laughing is George and Maria? That's really funny. I didn't change the subject somehow. I had a feeling I'd be the butt of everyone's joke for the whole trip, so I tried to think of something harmless to talk about. Oh, nice weather we're having. Hey, Jessica. How are Uncle Cross and Aunt Natushi doing? My old man and mom? Unfortunately, they're fine. Dang, she's cold. That's probably why she doesn't want to be like her parents. Though every other word out of their minds is study, 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 which pisses me off. Well, understandable. I mean, if you just study, it's like, where's your free time? I'm so jealous, since it doesn't look like Uncle Hideyoshi or Uncle Rudolph would say stuff like that. Haha, oh no, before I had my exams, my parents kept pressing me about it over and over. Thought it was annoying then, but now I'm grateful. Ain't you the study guy? Ah, I knew it. You really are awesome, Aniki. Anyway, I have to look after myself. No one tells me what to do. Well, it's not like I'd listen to if they did. Heheha. Atlas said, have you still not returned to your parents' home? Well, I kind of go back now and then. Got lots of clothes and stuff left at the house I was living in until recently. Ooh, Badler has 2 houses? Something like that. Why do he have 2 houses? Because he wants to separate himself? Only Maria, who couldn't really grasp the situation, voiced this naive question. However, the others just thought nervous glances at me. Usually not to respond, even though they knew the answer. Or yeah, look, you can see the harbor over there. I mean, yeah, it's just how it is sometimes. Can you see it? Ooh, saw the harbor, saw the harbor. Really, Jessica was trying to be nice by changing the subject. Oh well, I'd rather not talk about it if I can help it. It's just uncomfortable. Have it treated like some kind of weird taboo. Don't mind it much myself anymore. Maybe a member of the Ushiromiya family, but the truth is that for the last 6 years I've been living with the grandparents on my late mother's side, and I've been using her family name. Oh, okay, yeah, I see. That makes sense. When those grandparents passed away one after the other, I basically had no choice but to go back and live with that old bastard. Don't get me wrong, I didn't just run away from home or anything like that. Only one at fault here is my dad. Don't really blame Kairi-san. Being able to hold that old bastard's reins and hide him out is no mean feat. Still, the way that old bastard betrayed my mom, well, unfortunately, I still haven't fully gotten that. Over that. Ahem, well, we'll be getting there soon. George Aniki cleared his throat, trying to change the subject. Please forgive my indiscretion. Seems like the old woman has said too much already. I have hurt your feelings. I don't mind it, and no one's feelings are hurt. Don't worry, Kumasawa Bachin. Kumasawa-san seemed to regret speaking out of turn. I was more concerned about being worried over something like that, so I stood up and passed it off lightly. After that, I had a sip of my drink and headed over to Maria and Jessica, who were gazing at the silhouette of the island. Ooh, bad luck. I saw this on the island. There. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Where is it? Oh, I see it now. Even after 6 years, that island still hasn't changed a bit. Or has it? Small island silhouette in the front of us had gotten pretty close. This island's name is Rokunjima. They always said Rokujima, but it's Rokunjima. It's a small island about 10 kilometers. Kilometers. Located in the Izu archipelago. Since they call this archipelago the Izu 7, a lot of people think there are only 7 islands, but that's not true. There's actually several more. Rokunjima is one of the minor islands that don't get counted. Even if that weren't the case, I doubt you'd find many people who knew about this island. Only people connected to the Ushiromiya family ever go there. In other words, outsiders and tourists never have any reason to care about it. Unless you're an Umineko fan. I know the mansion is real. Or at least the inspiration. Kind of like the Home Alone house or something like that. So you'll never find this island its name in a travel brochure until now. After all, the Rokunjima is an estate possessed by the Ushiromiya head family, so it's their island and no one else. Only the Ushiromiya family lives there, and only people connected to the Ushiromiya family come and go from there. There's nothing there except a harbor and a mansion. The vast majority of the island is still just uncultivated forest. There's probably something going on in the forest, if I had to guess. A waste when it could have been made into a nice golf course or something. It could have been the typical rich people's favorite pastime. But when you realize that the entire coastline is a private beach, it starts to sound pretty magnificent. You've probably guessed it by now, but to put it simply, well, the Ushiromiya family is just rolling in dough. That family apparently possesses a vast fortune. Well, you don't say. If they own the island, you know how much islands are. And Dad and the others who make up the branch families have built up plenty of wealth for themselves, finding success even in their respective businesses. I need to start a business. I think we should start a business, the Front Logs Archive business, where you can buy anything. I've been living in a commoner's life at my grandparents' home these 6 years, so I completely forgot. But the old bastard's house is really elegant, and everything about it is tuned to match the snobbish taste of the annoying rich. Come to think of it, I guess that makes George, Anarchy, Jessica, and Maria, and me wealthy, high-class gentlemen and ladies. Needless to say, none of us think of ourselves that way at all. How very humbling. I don't see myself as being rich, and George Anarchy, who takes self-discipline very seriously, doesn't let himself get too comfortable. That's a good thing, because most millionaires just blow all their money, then can't actually retire well. Jessica's always complaining that she'd rather move to the city than be rich. I mean, I could understand that. There's appealing things about living in the city over being in a mansion, I guess. And Maria is still a kid who isn't even interested in money at all. She's too busy watching Coco Melon and Skibbity Toilet. That attitude really make us any less snobbish. The perspective of people in poverty who can't pay the bills, we really have been blessed with a lot. This isn't the place to explain any further, so I won't. Yeah, probably a good idea. Anyway, it's the same boat as not being able to choose the parents you're born from. I mean, that's just how life works. You didn't ask to be born in a rich family. I don't think it's really something to be envied. I mean, money would be nice, I guess. It can be pretty tiring when people are prejudiced against you just because you're rich and refuse to judge you by your own merits. Yeah, that can be a downside of being rich if you're only rich by connections to family. As I pondered these sentimental thoughts, Maria started shouting and leaned over the railing. Is my neck hurting? That's weird. Not usually this close to my monitor, but I should be. Ooh, gone. What's wrong, Maria? Did you drop something? Ooh, gone, gone, ooh. Maria kept yelling, gone, gone. First it sounded as though she dropped something, but while she shouted, she also pointed out over the ocean. What's wrong? It's gone. I'll look for it too if you want. What is it? Huh? Dropped something, she probably would have just looked down on the floor, but Maria was pointing out over the ocean. One would assume by that gesture that she had spotted something, but she kept saying that something wasn't there. Strange. However, since my last memories of this place came from 6 years ago, I was able to spot it before Aniki, who comes here every year. Huh? If I remember correctly, wasn't there a Tori or something on top of a small crag over there? Right, it was definitely there. I remember it well since it was as we get closer to the island. That's the first thing greet us like a landmark. Wow, you're amazing, Battler. Even though it's been 6 years, you remembered. This year, wasn't it? I remember too. Tutelary. Let's look at that up. I want to know what that means. Let's see. Serving as a protector or guardian or patron. Relating to the protection or a guardian. Tori thing we're standing all alone on that crag. Now that you mention it, they are gone, aren't they? Pretty sure they were still there last year. Gone, gone, ooh. Maybe they were washed away by the waves or something. It was a small crag, so it probably got worn away over time. But enough to get washed away, I don't know. Well, that's my theory too. It was last summer that it disappeared. They say an enormous lightning bolt came crashing down one evening, smashed the shrine. Fishermen whisper that having a thunderbolt fall upon honored a tutelary god must be a portent of approaching misfortune. Kuwabara. Kumasawa-san smiled impishly as if teasing us, rubbing her hands together while entering a Japanese phrase meant to ward off lightning. However, Maria apparently took this seriously, stared fixedly over the ocean where the crag housing the shrine god was supposed to be. Portent of misfortune. Ooh. Enough, Kumasawa-san. Maria isn't old enough to get that kind of joke. Okay, Maria-chan. It's just a coincidence. Nothing scary is gonna happen. Somehow, I doubt that, George. I mean, what series is this from again? George Aniki puts a hand on Maria's shoulder to calm her down, but Maria's sharp-eyed expression didn't waver. Maybe she's right, misfortune. Misfortune. Maria muttered that word over and over. Apparently, repeating a single word over and over is a habit that Maria's had for a long time. Whereas since she was saying... The word she was saying was literally an omen. It was a bit creepy. Foreshadowing, if I've ever seen some. Hey now, Maria. If you say it over and over like that, misfortune will really end up happening, you know. I mean, I guess. I tapped Maria's shoulder. Maria whimpered, whipped her head around, stared into my face, and spoke unblinkingly. Ooh, misfortune is coming. Well, that's a bit, eerie. Huh? And just where is that coming? Is it coming from? I answered lightheartedly, trying to break the tension in the air. Even I'm feeling the tension. At that moment, Maria held up a finger, raised her arm high, and pointed to the heavens. When I looked up, I saw that the sky was still just as cloudy, but it had grown a great deal more leaden than it had been that morning. That's right, they were saying that a typhoon was approaching. You'd planned to spend one night on the island, but if the storm doesn't pass quickly, I won't be able to make it to school on Monday. All that just for one day is kind of wild. And why would you go for typhoon weather? I don't know. Well, I guess it makes a pretty good excuse to be absent. Ooh. She apparently sensed some kind of misinformation. Why did I say misinformation? That is so random. Misfortune in the cloudy sky. She'd been muttering that nonstop for a while now. Girls at Maria's age tend to be pretty impressionable. Just about that age that many girls start to get excited about the sixth sense, is then whether they have any psychic potential or that stuff. For all we know, this might be due to her childhood's sensitive nature. Okay, Maria-chan. The weather might get worse tonight, but tomorrow it'll clear up and become a pretty blue sky. Ooh, pretty blue sky. Ooh. There's absolutely no way this will be any longer than a day. There's no rain that doesn't end, and no clouds that never end. Ooh, rain that doesn't end. Clouds that never end, or never clear. I know that typhoon's coming, but soon it'll go away. It'll be okay, Maria. Ooh, 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 ooh. Maria started yelling, ooh. This is an omen if I've ever seen some. It looked as though she was having a tantrum because no one could understand what she was trying to say. What in the world is Maria trying so desperately to warn us about? Unable to understand her, we couldn't help but feel a vague sense of misfortune. Heard that everyone can feel the supernatural, but that it weakens as you age. That might mean Maria, the youngest one of us all, still possess some kind of sense that the rest of us had lost. Wonder if that sense is sending her a warning. I mean, that was very weird. It was only Maria that sensed it. At that moment, Kumasawa-san quietly opened her mouth. Rumor has it that long ago Rokunjima was Kumasawa-san? Let's not talk about that now. Just as Kumasawa-san was about to tell some kind of story, Jessica's abruptly interrupted her. Jessica's tone was extremely firm for her. I wanted to push her further just out of simple curiosity. Judging by the look on Jessica's face, whatever Kumasawa-bachan was likely to say would probably make Maria more uneasy. Yeah, we don't want to worry her even more. I did try to press her for the story. The odds were pretty good that it wouldn't be anything bright and cheery. Oh, I do apologize about that. Wind here is hard to bear for the elderly, so if you excuse me now. Well, excuses. Gossipers have no reason to hang around if they've been told to stop chatting. Kumasawa-san finally realized that she's overstepped her bounds. She went back inside of the boat. After she left, Uncle Hideyoshi showed up in her place. Since he'd arrived mid-conversation, he completely failed to notice that the complicated atmosphere that hung around the scene. So he refreshingly and unwittingly swept that atmosphere aside. What a goat. So in the end, it was his lack of tact that brightened the mood. Looks like we're almost here. Okay, just a bit more. Took forever at the speed we went today, didn't it? Wonder whose fault that was. Definitely not Badler's. Badler's would never do anything like that. Well, ha 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 ha. Well, that Uncle Hideyoshi, give me a break already. Haha. Oh, come on, don't stop there. Seriously, thanks to Badler here, it's taken forever. Slandering begins. My goat Badler can't catch a break. Maria probably thought that everyone was refusing to listen to her. She hung her head, wearing a fretful expression. She did. George Anarchy crouched down to meet her eyes and spoke to her kindly. Maria-chan, there's nothing to be afraid of, because we're all together. There's nothing to be afraid of if we're good together. Power of family and friendship. Wait, hold on, what did he say? Go ahead and say it. Ooh, there's nothing to be afraid of if we're together. Friendship, friendship, power of friendship. Yes, there's nothing to be afraid of if we're with each other. Ooh. That's right, exactly what George Haneke said. We stick together, there'll never be anything at all to be afraid of. Right, Jessica? Yeah, no doubt about that. What George Nissan says is always true, Maria. George Nissan, always true. Yes, I don't lie, so trust me. Does she not lie, though? Nothing to be afraid of if we're all together. Ooh, George Oni-chan doesn't lie. I trust you. There's nothing to be afraid of if we're all together. Ooh, not afraid. Maria jumped into George Anaki's arms and hugged him tightly. Now, Maria, let's go watch Coco Melon and Skibbity Toilet. After Aniki patted her head, she jumped away again. Her facial expression had undergone a 180-degree change, turning back to normal. She was once again the ordinary Maria. Ooh, there's nothing to be afraid of anymore because we're together. Ooh. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's it. You look all better now. You're strong and that's awesome. Ooh, I'm awesome. Need a quick water break. Alright, we're back. Hey now, what's going on here? Might need to get more water actually. I'll do that a little bit later. Hey now, what's going on here? Maria-chan didn't get seasick, did she? He wasn't there for the omen. Ah, well, something like that. We'll be arriving soon. Harbor was already drawing near. Oh. It's just like the halfway point in an episode when it shows the screen. But we probably don't talk about the Umineko anime. Because most VN animes are absolutely awful. I don't know how Clannad and Steins Gate were the only decent ones, and even those have a lot of flaws. They're probably safe now. Here we go. The boat gave a big shudder. Seems like we docked at the harbor. Boat driver came out and jumped to the pier with the mooring rope. A large man in a tuxedo was waiting there for us with a warm smile. Didn't recognize his face, but judging by his clothes, I guessed he was a servant of the Ushiromiya head household. Goda Toshiros. See, I knew we would get introduced soon. Welcome home, my lady. You were so late in the returning that I began to worry. Ah, thanks for caring. This moron got so scared. We had to slow down. It was seriously annoying. Shut up. Someday, when the shoe's on the other foot, you'll remember this. Oog. Hop off the goat. At this rate, word will spread through the whole family, and I'll be the big conversation piece during dinner. That would be the worst thing that ever happened. Even without this, everyone be talking about me because of that 6-year gap. Now I've given them all even juicier topic. Damn it, why does the Ushiromiya head family have to live on this isolated island? In the meantime, the boat finished its mooring. A small plank was lowered so that we could get down. One by one, our parents came up from inside the boat. Must all be quite tired from your long trip. Madam, please allow me to assist you. Thank you. It's been a while ago to San. How are you? I thank you for your concern. It's always my pleasure to serve. He's serving. Medla-kun, isn't this your first time meeting Goto-san? If I'm not mistaken, you weren't working here 6 years ago, right? Indeed. So please allow me to greet him for the first time. It is an honor to meet you, Butler-sama. Pretty confident about my height, but you're huge. This is definitely our first meeting. I never forget meeting a big guy like you. It's a pleasure. I'm Battler. Looking forward to meeting you. Everyone likes the Battler. Oh, they put it there instead of doing a separate one like the family. I guess only the family get that. I'm Gota, your servant, and I have been working for the Ushiromiya family since the year before the last. Pleasure to make your acquaintance. It did the sound like right after. If there's anything you need, please feel free to rely on me at any time. Gota-san, it's been some time. It has been for too long, George-sama. Please allow me to assist you. Usually you're a pro at welcoming guests. I mean, it's literally his job, so I'd assume. And if you're working at a rich people, you kind of have to be good at your job. If you ever need a job, just let me know, okay? Dude, he's literally working a job. Hired at you anytime. You do me too much honor. Please allow me to assist you, Hideyoshi-sama. Oda-san then lent a hand to everyone as they disembarked, greeting them as they passed. Speech and mannerism had the refined polish of a professional. I mean, okay, I'm just not gonna say it. He was very graceful in contrast with his initially tough-looking appearance. Don't judge by appearances, kids. The large side made him seem a bit scary at first, but he was much more polite than my first impression had led me to believe. He claimed to have served on the island for 2 years, but he had doubtless worked at a similar job somewhere before. After everybody disembarked, the mooring rope was untied and the boat started to steer away from the harbor. Goodbye, boat. It's probably returning to its home port on Nijima. Captain waved his hand in farewell. They're probably gonna get back faster because they don't have Battler. Maria continuously waved her hand back. Now that I think about it, that must be why I felt something out of place for a while now. Can't hear the cries of the seagull. Title drop. Seagulls, the birds? I remember correctly, whenever we came to this island in the past, the seagulls always greeted us with their lively Naya cries. Like the title screen. Because of that, whenever I hear the cries of seagulls anywhere else, I get the feeling that I'm coming to a family conference. Except for the small part of the island where those of the Ushiromiya head family live. Rokenjima has been left uncultivated, which apparently makes it a paradise for wild birds. Supposedly there was a cliff somewhere that housed a huge seagull colony, so this island was always full of seagulls. But then they disappeared. Not having those seagulls here to greet us made me feel a bit lonely. What's wrong, Badler-kun? Oh, Aunt Rosa. Nah, it's nothing really. I was just thinking it's a bit lonely without the cries of the seagulls when they cry. Alright, that's true, now that you mention it. Now that you mention it. Even though they're always so noisy today, there isn't one to be seen. It reminds me, earlier this morning, I was woken up at like 5 a.m. for whatever reason. And then there was this bird that was constantly going off. It was probably a woodpecker or something, I don't know. But then I tried to sleep, and then I got up at like 7 and I still heard it. And then I woke up later at like 9 and it was still going. Like, I don't know what this bird's problem is, that it had to go for like 4 hours, but it just did. And it bugs me. It seems like it's stopped now, but I'm scared for the morning. There isn't one to be seen. Even though they're always so noisy, there isn't one to be seen. Okay, I read that. Ooh, why no singles? Maybe it's because the seagulls are having a get-together somewhere too. Now they need to make when the battlers cry. Maria, did you want to see those seagulls? I wanted to see them. Still, it's a bit strange there isn't even a single one around. Maybe Jessica grilled them all and ate them. I don't think grilled seagull would taste that good, honestly. The hell? Don't say disturbing stuff like that. We'll get Maria believing it. Ooh, Jessica Oni-chan grilled them. Jesse Oni-chan grilled them. Ooh. I did not. Why the hell would I do something like that? That's right, Jessica grilled them. Gonna meatballs, liver, onion. So we've been meatballs, liver, onion. Ooh. So made fun of Jessica. Maria tagged along, looking like she was having fun. Well, I never guessed she was such a good sport. Alrighty then, from today on, I'll make you my #1 follower. That's a big honor, being Battler's #1 follower. I smiled at her. She beamed, looking overjoyed, possibly because she was happy about this little connection we made with each other. That's not it, Maria chant. I've heard wild birds are attuned to the changes in the weather and atmospheric pressure. So most animals flee when there's like something coming, like typhoons and stuff. The weather will probably get worse tonight. Seagulls might have returned to the nest early. Ooh, not grilled? Just gonna Chen didn't grill them? No, she did. Battler wouldn't lie about something like that. No, I wouldn't do something like that. Battler, you admit, right? Now that you lied. Battler-kun, Maria Chen is a naive girl, so she takes even jokes seriously. He needs Peter to explain the jokes. You should choose your jokes more carefully. George Aniki gently scolded me. Even though I outstripped Aniki in height, Aniki was Aniki, of course. There's no choice but to obediently apologize. Sure, my bad. Maria, that was a joke. The seagulls are all taking it easy in their nest tonight, that's all. Battler lied? George Oni-chan told the truth? The truth is out there. Had she actually been tricked despite all the fun she was having? Her pure eyes made me feel guilty. Maybe I went a little overboard with her after all. Yeah, that's right. What George Aniki said is true. The weather's bad, so they probably went home for the day. Doesn't mean they're gone. They're just not crying right now. Right on, Rosa. That's right. Tomorrow when the weather gets better, I'm sure they'll come back so we can hear them cry and meow, like they always do. She says it meow, but he said meow. Ooh, I'll wait till the weather gets better and they come back. Gonna wait till tomorrow. Gonna wait till the weather's better. Ooh. Maria was in a lighter mood and was looking forward to tomorrow when the seagulls would come back and fill the skies. Still, George Aniki was really amazing taking care of kids. I think I remember Aniki was taking good care of me as well when I was a brat 6 years ago. Aniki, that's probably your gift. George-kun is amazing at taking care of young kids. If you wanted to, I'll bet you'd do a great job in children care, don't you think? Yeah, it's almost like George Nissan was born to do something like that. Personally, I think it'd suit you better than doing business in some company's president's office. Oh no, childcare is a fine career path, but it's not a job where merely liking children is enough. You really are modest, George-kun. Battler-kun is quite good with children too. Just a second ago, even though it didn't last long, Maria seemed to be having a lot of fun. Please keep on playing with her, just like you did now. Just choose your jokes more carefully, okay? Giggle. Aunt Rosa winked at me, giggling a little. The real mother, I thought to myself, who's happy to see Maria having fun. Come on, Rosa. You brats too. What the hell are you doing? Let's get going. Not even at the mansion yet. Okay, we're going. Coming. That old bastard was waving for us to hurry up. Yeah, we needed to get moving. Might as well have this conversation after setting our luggage down in the rooms. Now then, everyone, allow me to lead you to the guest house where you'll be spending the night. Please this way. Go to Sen called to everyone and led the way. Umasawa-san brought up the rear. We're going up the pass. The mansion. Separate twisting path led through a dim forest. No, a serpentine twisting path led through a dim forest. It ran a bit uphill. I guess the path was made all twisty so the slope wouldn't seem too steep. But personally, I'd been happier if they had the guts to make some stairs in a straight line. No doubt they made the path twist on purpose to put airs on distance and importance. There's no stairs. There it is, the mansion. The iconic mansion we're almost there. The guest house at least. Before long, we saw the garden-style stone steps. From here on, I do have some memories. Go up in. The top of the stone steps were a beautiful guest house. Here's a garden. Its facade was lovely, of course, but more importantly, we couldn't enter its doors without having our hearts stolen away by the splendor of beautiful rose gardens spreading before it. Flowers are pretty. It's beautiful as ever this year. Real delight for the eyes. They're climbing the stone steps. The people greeted by the rose gardens gave voice to their impressions one by one. Just me, or are the flowers a little less lively this year? Probably because it wasn't that hot this summer. I also believe that was a factor. Sadly, this year's blooming is a tad inferior when compared to last year's. This always remind me. I always went to like my grandma's house, and she always had like a garden in her yard. It wasn't exactly like this, but it was pretty similar. It was always fun to go through it. I should get into gardening one of these days, maybe when I'm older. Even so, it's a delightful rose garden. I remember that even 6 years ago, huge numbers of roses had greeted us every year. This rose garden was the first thing that greeted the people who came to Rokujima. Even our parents who come every year couldn't help but give voice to their admiration. In fact, it seemed like it had undergone a power-up from the garden in my memories of 6 years ago. This place is always so amazing. It would be wonderful to have a rose garden like this at home. Give it up. Who do you think would take care of it? Roses are a real pain with bugs and diseases to worry about. Bugs are a pain. I hate bugs, especially bees. Well, from what I've heard, Harry Nissan takes care of her roses every day and makes sure no bugs get anywhere near it, right? Huh? What are you talking about? That's right, though in this person's case, the rose goes after the insects like some nasty carnivorous plant. Oh, so that's what you mean. Come on, Rosa. Can't you give that a rest today? Just for today? I put that sort of thing completely behind me. Wonder, they're all your womanizer on almost a genetic level. Is that the background? Thought I heard voices. I guess that is the OST. Oh wait, that's the seagulls. Huh. No need to worry, Rosa-san. When the roses give you too much trouble, it's always best to snip it at the root. Oh, such a frightening task this is. Guys who are popular with the ladies are always forced to live dangerously. I sure hope I turned out a bit prettier in my next life. The Yoshini-san, like I keep saying, it isn't like that at all. And Kyrie, stop it. You're freaking me out. You made my rose wilt. How dare you make the rose wilt? Hey, Maria-chan, look over there. These roses are especially magnificent. Magnificent roses. Ooh. Smells pretty sweet. Look, this suits my elegance perfectly. Hey, cut it out. Maria's gonna imitate you and get hurt by the thorns. Thorns hurt. She yelled at me as I leaned in to smell the rose's scent with an exaggerated gesture. I thought she was overreacting, but when I turned around, I saw Maria intimating my gesture and George Haneke smiling broadly at us. Hey now, Maria-chan, be careful. Rose thorns can hurt. Ooh, George Oni-chan, only this rose is strange. Ooh. Strange? What's wrong? Maria pointed at a single rose. I immediately understood why she found it odd. In the midst of all the magnificent rose, only one single rose was just starting to wilt. There wasn't any particular reason. Some roses flourish and others wilt. That's all there was to it, but Maria seemed very concerned about the only unhealthy one in the group. She didn't want it to be left out, which was kinda thoughtful. Must have made her feel lonely. Do you feel sad for this rose because it's the only one that isn't healthy? Ooh, the others are all healthy, but this one's sad. Well, they all bloom and wither at their own paces. This one's starting to wilt early because it bloomed before any of the others. So like she's saying, it got out a little, started a little early and then it's dying sooner. Yeah, that's right. Probably just bloomed like crazy, fulfilled its duty, and went to sleep. You shouldn't get so worked about. Ooh. Seeing Maria's pure, sensitive nature was making her feel some emotional pain for that rose that wilted alone. Even though she understood the logic of it, it still felt lonely to her. Then Marie-chan, why don't you look after this rose until we leave? Ooh. George Haneke straightened up and felt around his pocket. He then took out the wrapper from the candy that he had been sucking on the plane. He twisted it into a thin string, then gently tied it to the rose as a sort of a marker. How does he always think of these things? He's always prepared for everything. Hey, that's pretty cute. Let's mark it with this. Later on, you can come and give it some water. Tell him that Mr. Rose will be happy. Ooh, come to give it water. I think you should give Mr. Rose here a name. Sure, that'll make it happy and you'll get to know it a little better. Name it the Battler. Name. Ooh. Though she still wore her usual sullen face, Maria crossed her arms and began to consider this intently. Rose naming business is serious. And at the very least, she appeared to have completely pulled out of her slump. Nice going, Aniki. Always knows what to do. George Nissan has always been really understanding. Can't help but respect him. Yeah, I guess he was just born that way. We've got to start picking up tips. Was this garden just as magnificent when you all were kids? Only after I stopped living here that it grew so big. Scale issue. Before that, the garden was simpler, though I'm still attached to that one. Nissan fiddled with it too much with that vaguely bad taste of his. I liked it much better than before. But you gotta think more positive. Setting aside how it used to look, its beauty now is something to be admired. Both can be admired, to be honest. You'll be able to relax a lot better if you look at it that way. Didn't mean it like that. I was just saying that I wanted you to see this garden the way it was before too. I kind of want to see it too. Everyone, if you please, I'll guide you to your rooms now. Go-san called to everyone to ask if we were ready, but our hearts had been completely stolen away by the rose garden that none of us had seen for a year. We didn't pay much attention to him. Since we weren't a travel group, it wasn't like we had a strict schedule to follow. Besides, since our parents were visiting their old home full of nostalgia, it wasn't like they had to let themselves be urged on by anyone or anything. Understanding the situation, Goto-san continued to wait, smiling widely until our parents got tired of the roses and told him to guide us to our room. There we go. Better now. Huh? If it isn't Kanan-kun. It's been so long, how are you doing? Uncle Hideyoshi suddenly shouted. Oh, we have a new character. The direction he was moving was a slender boy. He did him right after a huge man like Goto probably emphasized his small structure. Stature? Huh. The boy was in the middle of transporting piled up gardening tools and the like in a wheelbarrow. When he realized he was being called to stop, he set down the wheelbarrow, took off his hat, and bowed his head. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. I figured he was probably younger than me. I mean, you can kind of tell. And I realized the general atmosphere surrounding him that he was another servant. He greeted us in a response to Uncle Hideyoshi's call, but he seemed like he might be pretty unsociable most of the time. It's a greeting that lacked feeling. When Goto-san noticed that our interest was shifting towards him, he went to the boy's side and introduced him to us. Battler-sama, allow me to introduce you. This is one of the servants of the Ushiromiya family household. I always put family right after, for some reason. Head household. Kana-san, greet our guests. I'm pleased to meet you. I'm the servant, Kanan. Oh, you got it. Yep, my first impression wasn't wrong. He seemed to be unsociable, or at least not so good at talking, just like me for real. Compared to Goto-san, who is extraordinarily polished as a servant, you couldn't help but feel an inexperience typical of his age. When Goto-san urged him in a whisper to give him a bit more of an introduction, the boy named Kanan only cast his eyes downward. Kanan-san, could you perhaps give a little more of a greeting? No, because we are furniture. Dang. A little harsh. He didn't seem to be refusing to greet us out of spite. Rather, he seemed to have fallen silent because he didn't know what else to say to us in his greeting. Well, Kanan-san's shy and doesn't tend to talk much. He might not be that sociable, but deep down he's a really good person. Don't get him wrong. You've been working here for 3 years, haven't you? Pretty sure you started a year before Goto-san, right? No, he wasn't exactly given a terrible first impression. Jessica hurriedly backed him up. He got the Jessica vouch. Apparently his own sociable nature causes him trouble a lot. Just like me for real. Okay then, nice to meet you. Butler, I'm 18, how old are you? Fell silent, as though wondering whether or not it was a question that he'd have to answer. Butler-kun? What are you doing? But here again, Jessica plowed ahead. If I remember correctly, Kanon's 2 years younger than us, so 16, right? Yes, that is correct. Looked as though you would prefer not to tell us his age if given the choice. It's probably because he thought he'd look down on him for it. I remember that when I was around his age, I hated being asked how old I was by adults. He's 16, huh? It's gotta be a delicate time. Which means I probably asked something I shouldn't have. Yeah, I'm glad you're about our age. Just be cool and call me Battler. I'll call you Kanan. Thank you very much. But the sentiment alone is sufficient, Battler-sama. Jessica looked panicky for some reason. She seemed to think my impression of Kanan was getting worse because of his refusal. Well, as a girl, Jessica probably couldn't understand the fretful male heart at this age. This elder, even just by 2 years. I took it upon myself to be understanding of that. Kanan-san, could you perhaps be a little more courteous? Smiling face is also part of a servant's duty. My apologies. I shall make an effort. Oh, Goto-san, Kanon-kun is trying his best, yes. Looked as he was often warned about being unsociable. Apparently he hadn't improved one bit. Goto-san kept his business smile, but let a sigh of resignation escape. I don't know why my neck's kind of acting weird. Okay. Well then, I still have work to do, if you'll excuse me. Looked like Kanon himself was uncomfortable with remaining silent here any longer. Another pre-functionary blow, he turned around and started pushing the wheelbarrow again. Just then the wheelbarrow suddenly wobbled and fell, scattering the load. Guess the wheelbarrow's single wheel caught in a pebble and lost its balance. That's not his fault, that's more of the floor's fault. I don't think that should go on him. What do you think you're doing? Now clean it up quickly. Goto-san urged him to hurry in a quiet voice, as though hinting that it was shameful for a servant to appear clumsy in front of guests. I think he treated him a little too harshly. Kanon-kun's wordlessly reloaded the wheelbarrow with the fallen objects, as if to say he understood quite well without being told. He seemed to be fine with the light-looking gardening tools, shovels and such, but he looked like he was having trouble getting his arms around and lifting some sacks of fertilizer. Those things can be pretty heavy, to be fair, like big sacks especially. So even I have trouble pushing stuff around and carrying stuff. Are you okay? You're so careless. Here, lady, you'll dirty your garments. Please leave this to us. With a smooth motion, Goto-san took the shovel that Jessica had to pick up. Behind him, Kanon-kun was having trouble with the sacks of fertilizer. Ooh, you'll dirty your garments? Don't worry, the ones I'm wearing aren't that expensive. Besides, I hate guys who just sit there and make the waitress pick up the fork after they dropped it at a restaurant. I lifted up the other bags that had fallen. How lazy do you have to be to have a waitress do that? Lifted up the bags that had fallen. Of course, they weren't light, but for me, it was a piece of cake. Kanon-kun looked at me surprised. The face of someone who never would have expected to receive help from a guest. Bad life, Sama. Don't worry about it. I'll take care of everything, so... Don't worry. Don't you worry. May not look like it, but I've got it where it counts. Kanon-kun looked like he hadn't yet gone through his growth spurt. He was stuck with a sort of weak body. This kind of weight might have been too much for him. It's quite heavy. It's natural that it would be difficult for you. Don't worry about it, Kanon-kun. My lights just flicker. My lights are flickering. I hope that doesn't mean my power is going out. The stream suddenly stops. That's why. Okay, my time to shine. This makes up for the boat stuff before, right? Ah, as if this could make up for freaking out like that. Haha, later I'll tell you about it too, Kanon-kun. Bet it was totally hilarious. Gonna fall. Ooh. As they did this, I piled all the stuff back into the wheelbarrow. Beg your forgiveness for letting you witness such unsightful sightliness. Come now, that's quite enough. Please go. Letting the guests who were supposed to feel welcome see such a disgraceful thing must have been ridiculously embarrassing for a servant. Pressed by Goto to hurry up and go, Kanon-kun left. You're too harsh on him, Goto-san. Then you have helped him instead of being a bully? That was wrong of me. I deeply implore for your forgiveness. Not even a twitch in his smile, Goto-san apologized elegantly. Kanon-kun has a ton of things he's good at too. It's just that being young works against him all the time. Crying shame. Well, it's a prickly age. Let's just leave him be. They're all close-mouthed servants are the best kind. Isn't that right, Kumasawa-san? Oh ho ho, Rudolph-sama, you truly are harsh. There's no servant as silent as me, of course. Weren't you yapping on the island earlier? Ruin smiled worriedly at the obvious lie. Even herself didn't believe that, not in her wildest dreams. So, she must have said it to lighten the mood. Yeah, that's the kind of character Kumasawa Bachan used to be. The one stiff atmosphere had cleared up thanks to her cheerful smile. I'd like to settle our luggage soon. Odo-san, what rooms are we all going to take? Shall be the same as the previous year. Allow me to guide you. Please, this way. Headed towards a trim, elegantly simple guest house. This was going to be our temporary quarters for the night. Alright, it's time, boys. Almost. Kanan watched over the hedge as all the guests entered the guest. Then he let his eyes fall on those heavy stacks of fertilizer piled up in the wheelbarrow. In his mind, he kept going over his previous mistake. That's the kind of thing that sticks with you for years. Like 10 years later, you're gonna wake up in the middle of the night, 1 a.m., realize, oh man, I really did that. Would be extremely difficult for an outsider observer to guess what emotions that favor had stirred up in Kanan. As far as you could tell by watching him hang his head, there was something that he couldn't just let go of. Muttered words escaped his lips. Those words he murmured were so soft that they didn't reach even his own ears. Even I. Kanan hung his head, slightly biting his lower lip. We're on to the guest house. Remember the rose garden, but I don't remember this guest house at all. Was it built recently? Orarian visitors retreat was written on a gatepost like thing, but since everyone called it the guest house, I followed their lead. Brand new western style guest house which stood overlooking the roses had a magnificent design carefully done in harmony with the garden. Correct. It was built the year before the last, so 2 years ago. Ever since then, they've had a sleep over here. Yeah, this place is more fun than a junky old mansion, you know. Wish my room was over here. Ooh, I want a room here too. Can I get a room here too? Guess you could say my own house with upper class, but to me it felt completely ordinary compared to the head family. Display of wealth was shocking, as was the fact that they'd build this kind of awesome guest house for guests who'd only come a few times a year. That's the kind of rich people mindset. Iba-sama, Hideyoshi-sama, please do make use of this room. Rudolph-sama, Kairi-sama, please take this room here. Really do love how beautiful and elegant this place is. Western style architecture truly is wonderful. I can handle Western design for a few days, but any longer and you need the good old Japanese look. Japanese people just relax best on tatamani mats. Tatamai. They've been fighting over whether to make our new house Japanese style or Western style. Mom still holds a grudge at Dad about having the construction started with a Japanese layout, and they bicker all the time about it. I'm really jealous, George and Issa, and your parents get along, don't they? Mine are frosty. Frosty? I guess that's one way of saying cold. All the rooms seemed to be for 2 people. I was grateful since I wasn't going to be forced to share the same room with the old bastard under the pretext that we were family. Anyway, I figured those 2 wouldn't be able to enjoy themselves with someone like me around, hee. What's with that creepy smile? You're thinking about something dirty, aren't you? Hee. Something dirty? Of course not. Please enjoy your stay. Ow, ow, ow. That hurts, you old bastard. Once again, Dad pulled my ears from behind. Cut the crap. I'm getting a stomach ache and I'm not in the mood for this. You're the guest of honor this time around. So play as nice as possible with Dad and Anarchy and the rest. At the very least, be careful what you say in front of Dad, got it? Don't want to upset Dad. His wisecracks don't go too well with him. Jessica-chan, what's with the head's mood, or what's the head's mood been like lately? Same as last year, I guess. Considering they say he's got 3 months left to live, he's as lively, grumpy, and irritable as last year. As ever. Meaning this year he's been in his usual bad mood. As usual, the only one who's able to look after him is Genji-san. We saw in the opening. It seems like the master will open his heart to no one else. Lately, us small people have not even been granted an audience with him. He shut himself up in the study again, probably doing nothing but that weird black magic of his. Wonder if that's going to be a plot point. What he does for his hobby is his own damn business, but when he starts stinking up the house, it really gets on my nerves. Wish he'd never come out of that study again. Yeah, shouldn't talk like that about the elderly. We're all indebted to him since he rebuilt the Ushiromiya family. We should be more grateful. Get off him, man. Well, sorry. After being rebuked by George, Anarchy, Jessica had no choice but to take back her thoughtless remark. The Ushiromiya family was wealthy beyond belief, but of course that meant all of its members were a bit strange and completely out of touch with the world at large. You're out of touch. You're out of mind. Dad said he was getting a stomach ache earlier, and I imagine he reflected the honest feelings of all the adults here today. No doubt they were jealous of us grandchildren who could just play around and laugh without a care. What a life. The stories Dad told me, the family's head was a violent man who ruled with his fists, beating his children, even his daughters, mercilessly with a wooden sword. He was so strict and uptight about that. Why couldn't he have been a little more conservative with his kid's name? He's still going on about the names. Because of that, even us grandkids have to add this stuff for. Anyway, I can't say I have any trouble believing those terrifying stories about him. Don't remember meeting him very often, but I think I recall him looking extremely grumpy all the time, always making people cower with that sharp gaze of his. Remember that room's atmosphere got so tense whenever he was around, you couldn't even breathe. What my dad said about me being the guest of honor now carries a little more oomphy for me. 6 years ago, I was in elementary school, but now I'm a high schooler now. I'm gonna save again. And also looked at our tips. We only have character tips now. Since 6 years ago, I was in elementary school, but I'm high school now. If I act up, things could get serious. Ooh, scary. He does look frightening, but he's not so terrifying that you need to tense up like that. Nothing of what he says is truly unreasonable. He may be clumsy at talking, but he's a very logical person. George Nissan, you've been to the family darling since like forever because of your awesome grades, right? Grandfather treats us completely different. I've gone slapped with a wooden sword. Sheesh. On my ass, my maidenly innocent ass. Well, you're the hairness of the head family, Jessica-chan. Grandfather is giving you special attention. You got to realize that his strictness reflects his high hopes for you. Come on. Seriously, I could just turn the succession over to you, George Nissan. It's a bit of a heavy burden for me to carry. I think I already said it before, but Jessica's the girl heir to the head family. We're only cousins in branch families, so it probably feels totally different sort of pressure than we do. Ooh, just gonna eat 10? Is that heavy? If I help hold it, will it get lighter? Thanks. It's okay. I'm not gonna push it on you, Maria. Only push it on George. I'm gonna bear this cross until my grave. Don't worry. grateful for Mia's innocent concern, but Jessica's face still seemed to contain some of the uneasiness she felt towards the future. Maybe we were in the same boat. Any high schooler with exams approaching would have trouble hiding their anxiety for the future. Maria, come here. You and I will be in this room. Badler-kun, I heard you're gonna be with me in this room here. Oh, that's a pretty nice room. A little big, 3 beds, some chairs. It looks like 2 people each. The luxury hotel there. Oh, there's a surprise. It's bigger than our parents' room. Dang. I figured we cousins would want to hang out together, so I told them to get a bigger room ready. Ooh, I like it here more too. Rather be here than with Mama. Ooh, ooh. Oh, you like it here? Like it better here too, Maria? Okay, this room is George and mine, but we'll give you special permission to come in. Better keep it a secret from your mom, okay? Ooh, it's a secret. Aunt Rosa was right behind us, but Maria still answered, striking the air with her fists clenched tight. After setting down the luggage in the rooms, our parents had gathered again in the corridor. Hey, what are you brats planning to do? Are you cousins just gonna stay here and chat? Seemed they were heading to the mansion to announce their arrival. Normally they would make us follow and greet everyone together. But if that had been the case, Dad would have just told us to come, and that'd be the end of it. Saying it's okay if we don't come, so what will we do? We'll just stay here, I guess. Well, it's gonna be lunchtime before long anyway. Better let the kids unwind here, and then we get ready for lunch. Besides, if worst comes to worst, this might be their last chance to play outdoors. Ooh, I'll go too. Oh yeah, you have to sit for Mama, okay? Behave yourself and wait here. Ooh. Maria was being told to house sit here. We certainly couldn't leave on our own. George Haneke noticed this immediately and gave clear reply for all of us cousins. Well, then, we'll accept your offer and house sit. We've got lots of stories to tell each other after being away for a year. That sounds wonderful. And Badler-kun has 6 years worth of story to tell, doesn't he? Yeah, I'll take care of the house like a good boy. Masawa-san, I'm gonna stay here too. We'll break rank and leave the rest to the adults. Perhaps that would be best. I'll report it to the madam. And allow me to guide you all to the mansion. The mansion. The other children are one thing, but George is getting to be an adult. Wouldn't it be better if he came with us? If we make him come, then poor George will be the only one out of place. Interacting with his cousins is also important. Okay, see y'all later. Adults left one after the other. They left in the same formation as our trip from the harbor. Goda-san leading and Kumasawa-san taking the rear. As we gathered in the room assigned to us cousins, George Aniki asked us to excuse him for a second. Rushed over to Kumasawa-san, who was following them and the disappearing adults, and seemed to ask her something. Soon finished his business and came back. What's up, Aniki? Nothing. I just wanted to ask her something. Ooh, tell me too. Yeah. What could George Nissan be asking Kumasawa-san and not me, I wonder? I don't have a clue. No, it's a misunderstanding. Not that I know what you're misunderstanding. Aniki was getting pretty tongue-tied. It's almost as though he felt guilty about something, and Jessica knew exactly what he was worried about. At any rate, it's so fun as Jessica gets to know about it and not me. Hey Maria, it looks like we're the only 2 out of the loop, right? Don't you want to know what they're talking about? Ooh, we want to know too. Peer pressure. Ooh, I fooled around while oohing together with Maria. No, I'm telling you, it's no big deal. Ha ha ha. Liar, I'm surprised you'd tell such a terrible lie, Aniki. Confess. Maria, you tickle his right side, I'll tickle his left. Got his right side, Badler's got his left. Ooh. Wait a second. Wait, you too. Ah ha 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 ha. Stop. Ah ha 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 ha. Maria and I played around chasing George Haneke as he tried to escape rolling on the bed. I realized high schools aren't supposed to bounce around like kittens, but I still miss this kind of fun. Fun, cozy fun. Ah, George Nissan, what are you asking Kumasawa-san? Well, I've got a good guess. It's been a year since the last time you visited the head family. Who knows what servants might have come and gone during that time. Either way, it looks like he'd like to go and say hi. Ooh, say hi. I want to say hi too. What the hell? That's not going to feel guilty about Aniki. I'm not buying it. Maria, don't be fooled. Aniki's still hiding something. Or torture. Oh yeah. Stop it, seriously. Ahaha. Maria-chan, you stop. You two stop it already. Ahaha. She's probably busy cleaning or getting lunch ready. Don't worry, she'll drop by to say hi sooner or later. Yeah, I'll bet you'd rather have been welcomed by Shannon instead of that noisy Goda. Yeah. Shannon? Aha. Yeah, I remember a girl with that name. She's still a servant? How's she doing? Are we gonna get to see her? Or maybe later? There's that mansion. By the way, Nezu-san, how's your headache been lately? Seemed pretty serious before. I have been much better lately. Thank you for your concern. Oh, right here. Present for you, Natsushi-san. Thank you very much. I'm always receiving gifts from you. This black tea? Herb tea with peppermint and lemon balm. No, I've always kind of wanted to try tea a bit. Like, I've tried it, but I can't really get into it. I like Arizona iced tea, but not like regular tea. It's a blend from a well-known store, and it's supposed to be good for headaches. I thought it might help you too. Also, was always a conscientious woman. Probably because she was the youngest of four and much younger than the other three. She managed to grow up without gaining the venomous nature of her other siblings. Kind words got Natsushi to soften her expression for just a moment. It wasn't enough to melt her stony gaze, hardened as it was by long years of mental stress. Come to think of it, you're always complaining about those headaches. Pull yourself together. It's because Chan has her exams this year, right? It's gonna be a turning point in her life. Will she really be able to rely on you as a mother if you're like that? It's not Nissan, you're 3 years younger than me. You should get your act together. I apologize. I've had a tendency for headaches all my life. In normal circumstances, Eva sometimes failed to choose her words carefully. Gleba. But her comments aimed at Natsushi contained shards of obvious malice, though she hid it with a smile. Of course, that fact did not escape Natsushi. Frantically contained her urge to grimace shake and pretend to ignore Eva. Our Bradley-kun will have exams this year too. Rudolph-san, shouldn't you be a little concerned as well? For the sake of your own son, you'd better get serious to the point of having headaches like Natsushi Nissan. If I say anything, he automatically rebels. What should I say? Should I say the opposite? That it's okay for him to mess around? Probably the only way I could get him to listen to me. Yoshini-san, George did really work really well on his exams, right? Please, you gotta teach me that trick to handling children. Well, it's probably because I got him to understand why he should study. Study isn't worth anything on its own. That's right, the real point of studying is to practice researching stuff on your own whenever you bump into something you don't know. You can't do that, you can't be useful to society. I'm not talking about math or writing. You gotta learn how to learn. Splendid. I wish I just could understand that as well. He is to be the heiress of the Ushiromiya family then at this rate. You really have to force her into becoming the successor? After all, a woman has to find a woman's happiness. That's right, you can't really force her. It's what you want. It's not always going to be what she wants. You have to understand that sometimes. After all, a woman has to find a woman's happiness. Parents shouldn't force such things on their children, don't you think? Hold your horses, Eva. Each family has its own way of raising their kids. Shouldn't be pushy. Sorry, not so easy. Don't take it the wrong way. Well, as the light shining through the window was quite warm, despite the cloudy weather, there was a dark mood about the room. It was probably causing headaches for more than just Natsushi. As if it to sweep away the mood, Kairi brightly made a suggestion to all present. Still, this black tea has a really lovely aroma. So let's drink it right away. Japan, surely you couldn't find something like Leopold's black tea anywhere but Ginza, right? Hey, you know a lot about it, Kairi-san. I guess it was worth going to the trouble of buying it. Kairi and Rosa stood up from the seats and made it as if to prepare the black tea, but Natsushi forestalled them. I thank you both, but we can try that later. One of our people will soon be coming to bring some tea, so please relax. Leave it for later, you two. Let's enjoy our welcome drink. Way to ruin the mood. Dolph gave a subtle signal with his eyes for them to sit down again. Kairi and Rosa understood instantly and immediately returned to the seats. The initial greeting of the guests was complete, so it was time for them to be served some tea. Embarrassing for those that the tea was late, especially now that the guests were talking about making the tea themselves. Sushi bit her lower lip, frustrated by the impetude of the servants who were late bringing the tea. Seeing her face, Eva immediately started to giggle. Of course, Shannon had no way of knowing what was taking place in the parlor. She came pushing a serving cart with teacups. For no apparent reason, Natsushi gave her a pained look, and Shannon couldn't help but flinch without knowing what she had done wrong. There she is. I now understand why you wanted to see her. Why George wanted to see her. Excuse me, your tea is ready. Oh, Shannon-chan, it's been a while. You keep getting prettier every time I see you. Oh, thanks. Save the chatting for after you set the table. Tea will get cold. Don't people drink cold tea, though? If it depends on the brand, like iced tea. I apologize, madam. You're probably the type to want like worm tea, hot tea, you know. She apologized like a small frightened animal, bumped against the serving cart and made a jarring racket as she dropped several teaspoons. Clumsiness made Natsushi's expression even darker, which made Shannon quail even more. Man, maids aren't catching a break today. The servants. Come on, Natsushi-san. There's nothing wrong with her exchanging a few words in greeting. Tea must be plenty cold already, considering how long we've been kept waiting. Yeah, there's no need to worry. It's not cold yet. Shannon, finish setting the table quickly. I'm sorry, madam. Natsushi's irritation was obvious by now. The impetus that delayed the tea, the clumsiness of the servant. Everything pointed to the incompetence of Natsushi's everyday leadership, making her least loose. You gotta calm down. She's just trying her best, man. They just aren't giving them any grace or anything. The person in charge of the Ushiromiya head family's kitchen allowing that clumsiness to be exposed today's old days was surely nothing less than a total humiliation. Lay off, Natsushi-san. You tell him, Rudolph. You tell him. Don't you think it's a little harsh to bully Shannon-chan when she's trying her best? I'm not bullying anyone. Just simply impatient. The nice aroma. May I ask what brand this is? It's a Walmart brand. I'm terribly sorry. I'll find out for you later. Mary was trying to be nice, hoping to cut through the tense mood. However, Shannon had embarrassed herself instead, darkening Natsushi's face in the room's mood. At this point, Eva was audibly giggling. What's this? Shannon-chan, don't you even know what you're pouring us? Come on now, mustn't you serve something so suspicious to a guest? Need a silver spoon, at the very least, before we can drink this. I'm sorry, I'll go get one immediately. Shannon-chan, do you know what the silver spoons are used for? They have to be silver. Do you know why? No. A teasing smile rose to Eva's face as she stared at Shannon setting the table. By itself, Eva's expression was sweet in the impish sort of way. However, the words began to spun from her lips, held the keenness of a razor within them. Shannon tried with all of her might to avoid Eva's continuing gaze. Realizing that Shannon was hard-pressed for an answer, Rosa gave some timely help. She said that if silver is touched by poison, it darkens. Yeah, guess you've learned something today, Shannon-chan. You were acting as though this tea needed to be tested for poison before it could be drunk. A little overreacting to someone that's worked here forever, but I guess they're just joking around, so it's not that bad. Natsushi sighs. This was an insult to both the tea and to herself for serving it. Rudolph laughed flippantly and patted Eva's shoulder. Silver cutler. Man, I am so bad with L-Y, whatever those words are for some reason. Wouldn't do any good for you, Aniki. One lick of your poisonous tongue and even a silver plate would turn pitch black. Wahaha, since I get to hear that poison tongue every day, I must be poison proof myself by now. Eva, I don't mind when you use it on me, but you better hold back when talking to people who haven't built up resistance. I wonder what kind of poisoning he's been having. Aye, how cruel. All I did was teach Shannon-chan about tea, didn't I? Ruin followed the lead seat by Hideyoshi's hoarse laugh and chuckled, though not easily. Only Natsushi didn't join in, but for the time being the conversation inside the parlor could now be mistaken for a lively and friendly chat. Shannon finally finished setting the tea and tried to leave. Kairi apologized to her in a low voice for not being able to help. Shannon gave a light bow and made a hasty retreat. Shannon cast her eyes downwards as she pushed the cart down the corridor. Anyone seeing the pitiful way she looked might easily conclude that she'd been bullied in some way. Don't be sad. You didn't do anything wrong, Nissan. You were watching. This is my role. Madam and Eva-sama can go to hell. The worst coward is that guy. Someone glared, hopefully, hatefully. He's being a hater. Preparation for the tea had been delayed by some trifling problems in the kitchen. Problems were not Shannon's fault. In fact, it had been Goda's mistake. Oh, so it's been him all along, and he's getting all the praise. After all, there's no way a show-off like Goda would give up a flashy job like bringing him tea when the guests arrive. He had ended up wasting time preparing the tea once again. But when he realized that he wouldn't be able to score any points for this job, pushed the task of setting the table on Shannon, who happened to be passing by. I might call it a clever move on this part, but there's no doubt that it was a cowardly one. It's okay, Kana-kun, thanks. I'm not bothered by it at all. Silence vividly expressed the distance between Shannon's words and how she actually felt. Thank you. Even if you're the only one who understands, I feel a lot better. Keep your feelings too bottled up, Nissan. You should be less hard on yourself for once. Yeah, thanks. Suddenly, they both felt someone's presence and whirled around. Middle-aged man stood there. Look who it is. Genji, the head servant. What are you doing there? Shannon, hurry back to the kitchen. Yes, you'll excuse me. Shannon humbly obeyed and promptly made the rush to push the cart and leave. Over a counter, appealed to Genji in silence, bearing something in his eyes that he could not express in words. What is it? Did something happen? Shannon didn't do anything wrong. Even so, they... Stop it, Kanan-kun. Please excuse me. I'll return to work immediately. Kanan-kun, you should go back to your post too. Please. You say so, Nissan. That is all, then go. Yes, if you'll excuse me. From the shadows in the alley, an old woman wearing an apron watched over them. It was Kumasawa. Poor Shannon-san, Kanan-san. There's no reason for those two to be picked on. Still, Goto-san's dislike for them is an undeniable fact. Why does he hate them? They're so nice. Though Goto-san was taken in by the Ushiromiya family, I hear he worked for a fabulous hotel somewhere. The manner of work he learned there was quite impressive, believe. Just that Goto-san is the newest servant here. He must have a lot of pride accumulated from his previous positions. But Shannon-san and Kanan-kun are seniors here at the mansion, and yet are inexperienced and have gone through much less in life than he has. He picks on them at every chance he gets. But also, sad as it may be, they are disliked by Madame Natsushi too. Of course, if we were talking about experience, Madame has been in this family much longer. And yet, this one point where I cannot help but sympathize with the Madame as well. Really, the master is a man with many sins on his conscience. Why didn't he realize that such a thrilling whim of his would give the Madame such an inferiority complex? Of course, on the inside, even the Madame is fully aware that those two don't deserve to be treated so harshly. However, the heart has reasons that reasons know not. I feel so sorry for them. Can't do anything but watch over them from the shadows. Commercial break. Huh? Oh, there we go. Time to save. Okay, I think that's probably where I'm gonna call it for now. It's getting a little late. I'll probably continue the next part sometime this week. So thanks for everyone that tuned in. We'll be back maybe tomorrow with something else, or maybe who knows. We'll see what the mood is like. So thanks everybody for watching.